All right, everyone, welcome back to the Anything and Everything podcast, the podcast where I rant about random bullshit that you probably don't care about. This is episode 55, and to start off, I'm going to start this off on a bit of a downer note, but it's something important, so I wanted to start this episode off by talking about something that might be obvious, and I'm talking about the mass shooting in Jacksonville, Florida. Yes, another mass shooting in Florida. Again, because it's Florida, and the sad thing is it's not even surprising anymore. This was the one at the Jacksonville Landing Marketplace in Jacksonville, Florida. Specifically at the Good Luck, Have Fun video game venue. I believe it was also a bar where the person who shall not be named, because I'm not going to say his name or anything like that. I personally, myself, do not want to give this asshole any more popularity than he needs. But I will say he was 24 years old, so no surprise there. It was also a white dude. No surprise there, of course. Of course it's going to be a white dude in his 20s. 90% of the time it is. And supposedly his family were supposedly well off, is what I heard. And that's all I'm going to say about this motherfucker. I ain't saying no more about him. He doesn't deserve it. If you really want to know his fucking name, just go fucking Google it. Just go fucking Google it. Now, the first thing I want to know is, number one, why did this motherfucker bring a gun to a video game tournament? Why did he store his guns in his vehicle while knowingly going to a video game venue? It's like, okay, all right. You can say maybe he had them in his vehicle for protection, because at this point you're not even fucking safe driving. You can't even go for a fucking drive without somebody possibly shooting you in the fucking head because you cut them off in traffic. And so you could make that argument. Okay, but then why did he go back and get the guns from his vehicle and then go right the fuck back in the place if he just snapped? If this guy just snapped and went crazy, proves he thought this shit out. He had enough time to leave and think about what he was about to do, and he did it. Of course, yes, the motherfucker was mentally ill, because they have that on record, that he'd been prescribed antipsychotic medication and had mental problems. It was very well known he had mental problems. It is literally known that he had mental problems and was on antipsychotic medication. So that being number two, how in the name of God did he manage to get two guns legally? Because he legally purchased them, probably by just walking into the store, taking out the money, telling them, here are the two guns I want, and then giving them the money, and just walking out of the fucking store with the guns. Why did they not look that up before they gave him those fucking guns? Because they weren't fucking thinking and just didn't look it the fuck up, because they didn't care that he was mentally ill or on medication. And they still didn't give a shit because they just wanted to get some money. They wanted to make some money and sell some products. Actually, even better, what would be even easier, is if these gun stores required you to get a medically approved psychological evaluation. I'm talking, they should require you to go to a doctor, have them test you to see if your ass is mentally stable enough to use a fucking gun, and they should require you to bring a form in or have it available online to look it up to make sure you are mentally fucking sound enough to own a gun. Because this motherfucker clearly was not mentally sound. This motherfucker was so far from mentally competent, it's not funny. So how does someone like this get two guns, so fucking easily? Especially in a state that's supposedly has some of the toughest gun laws in this entire fucking country. How does that happen? One of you NRA motherfuckers explain that to me. Come on.
Let's go, come on. Hello, I'm waiting.
And the next thing I wanted to talk about is, of course, more so what the media will be saying, because they say this every time this happens, but they'll especially be saying it now because this involves video games. I've said it before and I'll say it again. A football video game, Madden, a football video game did not cause this motherfucker to go crazy and just start mowing down every person in his line of fucking sight. That's not possible. No. Like, come on. Are you kidding me? I'm going to give you some advice to ignore all of this crap where they try to say, oh, Madden's dangerous. It's a dangerous game. It makes you crazy. It makes the kids crazy. Blah, blah, blah. When you have literal fucking children, legitimately stealing their parents' money to buy shit for Fortnite. I know that kind of stuff there is a joke, but that actually does happen. You can't tell me it doesn't. And you don't see people calling Fortnite dangerous or obsessive when that's the game they should be worried about. Jesus fuck. But they're going to start worrying about Madden, of all things. And then Madden's going to have to stop making the series because they get too much bullshit. And then there we go. We've lost another video game series. I'm slightly afraid to think what this will do for video games in general. That video games are dangerous. They make kids do crazy, make them homicidal. Video games make kids want to mow each other down, which that is not what's doing it. That ain't what's doing it. It's the fact that these people are fucking mentally ill, and people just let them do whatever the fuck they want. The reason he did what he fucking did was because he was fucking mentally ill, and they let him buy fucking guns. But my main point being, a video game did not make this asshole go out and do what he did. And that's the same thing for any video game. These people go out and do what they do because they're mentally ill. It's going to eventually get so bad that when I tell somebody, I built my own gaming PC and I play video games. I like to play video games. People are going to look at me and start backing away in terror, so they're automatically going to assume I'm some sort of super dangerous, super unhinged, crazy motherfucker. That's what it's going to get. That's what it's going to get to. People will actually start to believe that video games make people psychotic, and they do not. It's because these people who play these games for 12 hours on end, non-stop, they play for so long that they do not get out and have social interaction, and they start to lose their sense of reality. Apparently, this guy didn't even refuse to even acknowledge the other people who he was playing against. He didn't shake their hands. He didn't do anything. He didn't want to because that freaked him out, because he had no social interaction, because he played video games all the fucking time. There is a limit to how much gaming you can do and it not affect your health. Okay, so moving on. So this is something I actually forgot to include in last week's episode, because by the time I got done with last week's episode, I quite literally forgot it and just didn't do it. But I also wanted to mention Senator John McCain, because I really don't like what people are... I really don't like the level of piss they're taking out of the man. This is a man who has died of cancer, by the way. I don't like the amount of piss people are taking out of a man who has died from cancer, simply because he was a politician, including all of the fake reactions that I've seen. As in, I think there was one of this chick, I don't know, talking at something about McCain, and she just starts very clearly acting her grief, faking her grief. Just like the most over-dramatized stuff you can think of. Sort of like stuff like that. That's exactly what it was. People have taken a man's death and turned it into a circus act, which is very disrespectful, regardless of the person. And then there was the whole thing about the U.S. flag and half-mast and all of that. And just apparently the lack of reaction from Trump and several people. Okay, so next I wanted to talk about something some of you might have seen. This is a couple who raised $40,000 for a homeless man in I believe it was New Jersey. And the same homeless man had helped the couple out earlier, Katie McClure and Mark D'Amico. But this homeless man had helped McClure after she ran out of gas on an I-95 interstate ramp in New Jersey. So they decided to raise $40,000 for the man, and now they're refusing to give it to him. And I'm pretty sure at this point are shitting their pants because now they're national news, because I guess they thought nobody would find that suspicious. Which, if you ask me, I'll tell you exactly what they're keeping that $40,000 for. They gonna save that money up and buy shit that they don't fucking need. Of course, they'll probably blow it all, if they've not already blown it all, so they don't have to pay it back. But apparently they didn't realize that that's actually illegal. You can go to jail for that, because that's wire fraud. That's the definition of wire fraud, like I've said in a previous episode. People don't seem to understand that's illegal. You can't start a GoFundMe telling people, we're raising money for a homeless man. Raise up the money and then not give the money to the homeless man, which is exactly what they're doing. So much so that this is on actual news. I'd say these two are in a pretty big world of shit. A judge has now ordered the two of them to give that money to the homeless man. And as far as I've not seen anything else, so they probably still haven't done it, because they spent all the money already, either on drugs, multiple cars that they can't afford, on a down payment to a fancy-ass house, and Johnny Bobbitt, the name of the homeless man who was suing the couple for taking $400,000 they raised from him. I'm going to be honest, he's probably not going to get that money back. Either because they spent it already and don't have any anymore, because they spend it all on stupid shit, so they literally have none of it left, or they're just not going to give it to him, regardless of who anyone says. Even if he does get anything back, it probably is not going to be anywhere near $400,000. And what's ironic is, this couple here, they're probably already broke because they've had to pay court cost because Bobbitt is suing them, or they're going to go broke because they have to pay court cost and court fees, and pay the man the money back. So the only way I see this ending up is either the couple going to jail for wire fraud or theft, or them not going to jail, but they end up still broke despite having $400,000 at their disposal at one point because they spent it all on stupid shit. So it's pretty much a lose-lose for everyone involved here when you really think about it. Nobody's winning from this one. Unfortunately, this nice homeless man still has no money because they stole it from him. And this couple has now become the most hated couple of August and /September of 2018. Unless this homeless man here is doing pounds and pounds of coke every single night, I don't see how he could blow through $400,000 if he's fucking homeless. So I'm kind of on Bobbitt's side with this. So we'll just have to see what turns out of this. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to talk about, and this is something slightly more upbeat and funny, and really the only reason I wanted to talk about this is just because I thought it was fucking funny, because it's a good example of how far you can push someone before they just can't take it anymore. So, as you all know, I'm from Alabama. Well, I was going to say great state of Alabama, but we all know that's not fucking true at all. I'd just be lying to myself there. But I'm from Alabama, and Alabama football is the major, well, everything, the very fabric of this great state. But, as I've said before, I'm not really a sports person in general, but I wanted to mention this because it's just funny. And I'm referring to Alabama football because if anyone from Alabama's watching this, you might know we played a college football game Saturday, the University of Alabama's team. And something I've always noticed just from glancing and watching these is the amount of stupid fucking questions these reporters seem to love asking the University of Alabama's head football coach, Nick Saban. The amount of stupid, dumbass questions that man gets on a weekly basis. But then again, they probably have to ask the questions or they'll get fucking fired, which is fucked up. Especially in this case. And I can't remember all the names because I didn't look at it that clearly. I just remember seeing it. But there was this one reporter who apparently asked Saban to talk about the performance of the other team or something like that, which he has said multiple times he refuses to answer because he knows exactly what they're trying to get out of him. They're trying to get him to say some smack talk against the other team, which he refuses to do. Yet they continually ask him that on a weekly basis. And you can only take so much of that before you lose your fucking shit. Well, I don't want to say lose your fucking shit because it wasn't something super crazy. And I'm making it sound more dramatic than it was. Now, I would put up a video of it, but I don't want to get a copyright strike. Yeah, I don't want to have to deal with that shit. But he basically goes... Like, why do y'all keep asking me why do y'all keep asking me that same question over and over? I've told you all multiple times I'm not going to answer that, so stop asking me. That's basically how it went. And you could just see the look on that reporter's face like, oh shit, I'm going to get fired. Which I don't think she ended up getting fired or anything. As a matter of fact, I think she took it very well. More, or at least better than I would. I'd be shitting my pants. But of course... people started making it a big thing because it's 2018 and you can't do that without somebody making it a big thing. And they tried to say all this random bullshit, blah, 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 blah. Racist, sexist, whatever. So, of course, Saban had to apologize, even though he didn't really, because it's not like he started name-calling the woman or anything. And I actually saw that live. My family was watching the game. I wasn't, but I did see that part. The man was being honest. The man just got pissed because people keep asking him the same questions over and over and over. And they're just very stupid questions. Of course, when you're that kind of coach and you have pretty much every single person in the entire sports world trying to fuck you over on a weekly basis with some random bullshit because they're jealous of you, I'd be in a pretty pissy mood all the time myself, to be very honest. So I don't blame anyone there. I did kind of find it very unfair how some people were ripping on the reporter herself. It's like, yes, she was a reporter, and people have very strong opinions about the news media and media in general and reporters. And yes, a lot of them are dishonest. But I think it's more so that it's all become just super fucking opinionated. Instead of just telling us the news and the important shit, most of them start going off on everyone else for stupid random political bullshit instead of telling us the fucking news. That's the problem. They've all let their opinions enter into their news stuff. They're news reporters, newscasters, not politicians.
There's a difference.
So yeah, I kind of found that a little unfair. Because in my book, all she did really was just keep asking stupid fucking questions. Of course, I think even she admitted she basically had to ask him stupid shit like that, or they would have fired her. Which is very fucked up. One, because they basically blackmailed that reporter with the loss of her job if she didn't ask Nick Saban stupid fucking questions. And get him angry, which is what they wanted. And even more so that they're so that whatever news media she was employed with was so desperate. They're so desperate to catch him on video losing his absolute shit. They basically send one of their reporters out to be ripped apart. That's fucked up, which is a weird fucking dynamic. Okay, this is going too fucking deep and too fucking meta, so I'm just gonna fucking end it here. Well, cut. We're fucking done. Who am I talking to? I don't have a producer. I'm doing everything here. Okay. But seriously. So I think that'll do it for this week's episode of the podcast. So if you guys like this episode, you guys on SoundCloud can favorite the track, comment on the track, whatever you want to do. And you guys on YouTube can thumbs up the episode, thumbs down the episode, comment on the episode, whatever you want to do. And I'll see you guys for next week's episode.